Hi, everybody. Doug here with CaliberMind, back with you for another CaliberMind Minute. Today, I'm going to be walking you guys through how to use engagement data and intent data to deepen conversations, both with prospects that are sort of the edge of engagement and prospects that are in a sales cycle. So I'm going to start us off, as always, with our homepage and sort of work you through to where I am. If you don't have the engagement model, you need to get it right away. I'm going to spend time here in this engagement model. And what I'm going to do is to sort of think from the seller's perspective. We have a great sales team here at CaliberMind, and they're always looking at this data to understand how they can get more traction with an existing account or to get traction with an account that's just on the edge. And so I'm going through and I'm taking a look and saying who out there is currently engaged. I've already picked two companies. This first company is in a cycle with us currently. And what I'm looking for here, I'm going to look at this. I'm going to look at this from two perspectives. One is sort of the hunt and peck, and the other is from the, hey, how do I summarize this to understand what's going on? I always like to start with scanning the data first. There's a lot of it. This is an active engagement with an existing prospect. So there's a ton of engagement stuff happening in the timeline. But what I'm looking for here, I'm looking to understand what the buyers, what the buying committee is doing. I can track what's happening with them. And in particular, I have intent data that sort of tells me what's going on. So we're well into a sales cycle. What I'm seeing right here is sort of after we've engaged with them, they're going back and they're doing research. And they're actually spends some time in the CaliberMind app, which is fantastic. But the thing that I'm flagging here is after a sales call, again, I'm pretending this I'm the seller here, they're doing some research outside of CaliberMind on things like different attribution models, predictive modeling. And they're also taking a look at things that would sort of tip me over into, are they actually thinking about potentially using an existing business intelligence platform? It's pretty common to do their DIY, or in other words, to sort of build their own attribution model. So as a seller, I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, okay, if I'm not hearing this as a requirement, predictive modeling, I better bring it up because obviously this is something they're concerned about or they're thinking about. The other way to look at this also is, are they sort of thinking about a DIY approach? The other thing I'm going to do here is to actually do a quick AI summary. And let's see what AI is thinking are the most relevant touch points on that buyer journey. And, I'm also going to look and take a look at who's in the buying committee. And so while this is pulling up, all the AI summary is doing is mining that giant set of engagement data. And that can be especially important when you've got a fairly rich environment of engagement intent data to be able to just simply click on a button and understand what's going on. So what's really interesting is we're showing that buyer journey started here in June of 2024. And you'll see this popping up again. Look, analytics and reporting, attribution models, and predictive modeling. And we saw that repeated here in August. So could be that they're trying to do additional research in terms of the way that we think about predictive modeling, or it could be we're potentially not meeting those requirements. Most sellers are great project managers, and they're also really super paranoid. And I know the seller of this account, and I'm pretty darn sure they're thinking about exactly this stuff. The other scenario I want to walk you guys through is when you have an account that sort of is in that investigation phase. They're showing up in your website, they're out there, you're getting alerts, especially if you've got our product, you're getting a lot of alerts to let you know you've got an interested prospect out there. We send those alerts through Slack channels. The entire sales team, the marketing team can see it. It's a great way to make sure that we're all sort of on the same page in terms of what's going on. But hey, that's what we're here to talk about today. What I'm going to show you is another scenario where you have a target account and they're getting a lot of activity from marketing. You're seeing all these paid social activities. That means they're a part of one of our ABX motions. We're really trying hard to get their attention, and we're getting some engagement from this activity. But I also know, I'm taking a look here, and it's interesting. They actually got started on their buyer journey with us, started with G2, which is a really, really common thing for B2B SaaS that most companies now start really with G2. The thing I'm interested in, though, is this. This is not an account that is showing up and engaging with me as a seller. They're showing some interest. There's a little bit of engagement with the paid social, not a ton. But what I'm seeing here between when we started the advertising cycle here, this is later in June, right before the July 4th holiday is, we're starting to see activity from these folks researching. This is, again, intent data. They're doing some research. So it tells me a couple things. One is we may have sparked interest or we may have caught them at the beginning of a selling cycle. So that'll sort of inform me as a seller what my tactics should be. But the other thing I'm catching here is this. media attribution is one of the terms they're searching on. So that gives me a fairly good idea, along with advanced analytics, that they're thinking what they currently have from a media measurement standpoint, maybe it doesn't measure up and they're looking for alternatives. But I will tell you, I can't show you the brand name here, but I can tell you that this is definitely something that they should be concerned about, their media attribution. So those are two examples. Now, what would the seller do? Again, really great seller on this account. My sense is they're sort of monitoring. They're not necessarily doing anything right away, but if they were to reach out to this account, they would be putting content in front of them that spoke to ROAS, return on ad spend, and probably ROMI, so they understand how we think about those things. And they're also reaching out and understanding that when they have a conversation, guess what? They're going to be thinking about an advanced analytics platform just like ours. That's a good indicator that a lot of this advertising we've been pushing out there has got them thinking along those lines. All right, that's it for today, folks. Thank you so much.